I think you might have guessed. Yes. Obviously, I mean, I know you know what the video name is and what it's called, and it's obviously Borderlands. The original Borderlands, so OG Borderlands came out in 2009, and I must say I like this franchise pretty much. I've played Borderlands so much that I sometimes just feel like I'm living the life in Borderlands universe. However, let's get on with it. So Borderlands in general is very old title with its own unique art style. So the art style basically means how the game looks. It's not your usual textures, it's kind of like pencil drawn everything, and it gives you this weird feeling when you first actually play it. It's not really something you are well used to see, because if you compare Call of Duty and Borderlands, I mean there's clear difference on how the textures and shaders and mapping units are being utilized. Now, when we actually look at this game, there's nothing really that many options we can adjust for the game itself. So we can set the resolution, anisotropic filtering, dynamic shadows, and obviously all of this, as you can see, changes on screen. And I'm gonna, well, basically max out everything anyway. In terms of requirements for the Borderlands, well, this is kinda very simple. We need 4 gigs of RAM, we need Intel Core i3, so we need at least a dual core, so you'll be fine with even a dual core Celeron on Pentium, to be completely honest with you. This game doesn't pull much resources at all. And for graphics card, at least GTX 650. So, well, there you have it. And in general, the whole game actually weighs 8 gigabytes, so you think it's not much, but it's not about the way it looks, it's about the storyline, and storyline, oh boy, there is a lot of it. So I must say it's actually pretty nice thing. So let's take a look at it, and so you can take a look for yourself. I mean, again, story first, graphics later, and it is how it is. So we're just started here, I'm level 2. Well, obviously for some particular reasons my save is not here, because this is a Steam game, official now. But hey, I finished this, and I must say Borderlands gives you a lot of things to do if you want to just like go and shoot things. You don't have to think, you just go and blast stuff up. And honestly, I would say we kind of need this type of games, because if we don't, I mean, it would be very boring. I mean, life and world would be boring without Borderlands franchise in it. I can guarantee you this. This game is so full of dirty jokes, pervy jokes, all kind of jokes. Well, basically, even the ones that are probably not really welcomed. But at the same time, it's fun. As you can see, even with all this weird cartoonish style, art style, guns still have reflections. We have shadows. We have basically everything, and we even have iron sights with depth of field, which is very annoying, and to be honest I should actually turn it off, but at the same time, this is 2009, and of course it's made by Gearbox Software, so you know, pretty decent company, and they made a lot of money with this game when it came out, due to the thing this is basically South Park with guns. I'm not kidding. All the jokes you hear in that, the swearing and stuff like that, oh my god, that goes all the way up to Borderlands 3, where the minority is attacked and they had to dilute the actual feel of Borderlands down to, well, basically not Borderlands, so thank you for that, minority people. I mean, I'm still struggling to get over the fact how can some people feel offended that there is blood, gore, and swearing, and you know, you call things the way they are. Like if you see a little midget, you're gonna call him a midget. It's a word in English language, you're gonna use it. I don't see a reason why not. Obviously now you don't call them midgets, you call them, well, basically anything but that, because apparently it's like derogative or something. My question to those people usually is, why are you playing such violent, no bullshit game in the first place if you know, like, you know you're gonna be offended? I mean, it's like watching South Park and expecting a Disney movie, and then somebody says fucking cockballs, and what you're gonna do? You're gonna go and, oh wait, no, actually they did sue South Park. God damn it. Yeah, they're taking all the fun out of it. So let's take a look of the actual things we are pulling in terms of our hardware here. So as we knew, we need at least, well, we're pulling almost 5 gigs of RAM and 970 megs of video memory, and we are frame locked on 62 frames. Now obviously I cannot say that, you know, this is what I expected, but to be honest, I can see why. 60 frames for long periods of time were like the pinnacle of gaming in general, so if you could actually play the game on 60, it's fine. Now of course now we have different opinions. We need 1440p gaming, we need 4K gaming, we're into 8K gaming now. We're looking at 1% and 1% lows, we're looking at average frames, and I haven't seen a game that actually holds stable 60 throughout its, well, basically length. So this game is no exception. If you throw a grenade and it explodes, you will lose a frame or two. We do have well, 1080 Ti, and to be honest, I do believe it kind of struggles to understand, is it supposed to do anything? Because even now, I mean, it's doing like 15% and it's not even boosting to the point, so it must be just confused. But at the same time, I could run this game on integrated Intel HD and it would run fine on low or medium, and to be honest, I actually done that back in my day as well on my very old, still dual core Celeron laptop, and I was just desperate to play a game, and I played Borderlands, and it worked like a charm. So I must say, this is the game you can just go and shoot and have fun and have really good storytelling without breaking the bank. And I would say I highly recommend playing this. If you have never played this game, definitely play the game. Now you're gonna see the bandits, obviously. Yes, there is vehicles here, and as in Borderlands, of course, you are one of the wall hunters, because the storyline goes around that. And I'm not gonna talk about storyline. I mean, like, if you want me to tell you what Borderlands is, you're in a wrong video. You need to go and educate yourself, honestly, because I believe everyone has played Borderlands, at least one of these parts, and for me it's just a revisit of the franchise. I'm not gonna tell you who is what and why. I'm gonna mention some of the things, and that's about it. So one of the things would be, you take a gun, you shoot things, you level up, and you go and do the storyline, which is basically finding the vault. How you do it and what happens in the meantime, that is, well, a different story altogether. However, I cannot say that this is boring at any point. This is actually pretty fun to play, and storyline, it might be a bit weird the first time you play it, because you kind of try to understand it, and there's a lot of things when it comes to the storyline itself. Specifically, it depends on how you play the game, like which part is first. Like if you start with Borderlands and then you go for pre-sequel, or you start with Borderlands 2 and then you play pre-sequel, because technically that is the correct way. They were chronologically launched, but I would say it's the wrong way in terms of the story, because when you play pre-sequel, so let's say if you play it correct way, so you play Borderlands, then you play Borderlands 2, and then you play pre-sequel. If you play Borderlands 2, you get basically memory flashbacks and kind of like backstory from pre-sequel that you haven't played, and you play this pre-sequel, and then it all makes sense what happened in Borderlands 2. So I would say we're gonna stick to the actual basics, which is Borderlands, Borderlands pre-sequel, Borderlands 2, Borderlands 3. I'm not gonna talk about the little games like the Tales of the Borderlands, which is a pretty interesting kind of like, I would say, Wolf Among Us type of thing, which kind of just tells the story and you have the choices. Or the Borderlands, which is a web browser based game, which is kind of, well, I don't know if it's good or bad because I never played it, I just know it exists. And well, that's pretty much all there is. In terms of here, well, I'm in level 2, so I need to go and level up and do a lot of things. And yeah, I'm not kind of up for it right now, at least, so I think we'll just have to kind of take a look at something where I have a bit more experience with, which is Borderlands, the pre-sequel. So, Borderlands, the pre-sequel, very interesting title, I must say, one of my favorites when it comes to Borderlands. I do have a bit more attachment to Borderlands 2, but I played this and I must say it's pretty pretty fucking good. So we are now not on a planet, we are actually in space planets with a little or no atmosphere, and we are kinda hunkered down to, well, basically needing an oxygen mask to survive. Good thing, fall damage is gone. There's no more fall damage and you can just jump from wherever you want. And this trait actually follows through all other Borderlands games as well, including Borderlands 2. Now let's talk about the specs. Now as you see, there's a bit more much things to adjust here in comparison with the actual Borderlands, and it also comes at a cost. So to play Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel comfortably, you do need rather good setup. So let's go over the recommended specs real quick. So it wants 2.3 GHz quad-core CPU, at least 2 gigs of RAM. For graphics, GeForce 560 or Radeon HD 5850. So 560, actually I had that card, and I do believe it is 2 GB card, to be completely fair. So you need at least 2 gigs of video memory. DirectX version should be 10, and well, that's pretty much all there is. To be completely fair, if you set anti-aliasing and stuff like this on maxed out as I have, you might not really have a good time, because if you see all these little things on this particular player model here, all those shadows, the borders, all this is applied to all this artistic style. So your GPU will be working overtime trying to crunch the numbers of everything in the distance with all these little black lines. There's a lot of forums where people are, well, kind of complaining about poor performance of Borderlands, well, starting from 2 to be honest, and pre-sequel. And there's various fixes how you can disable it in-game config file or through NVIDIA panel or AMD panel. And I must say, I've never done it, right? I mean, I haven't seen, again, a game that has stable frame rate throughout the whole game. So if it drops, it's fine. So let's just continue on and take a look how it looks. And to be completely fair, it will look almost the same as original Borderlands, so that is the thing.
Let's use that to get in. It was probably put there by scavs who used pads like that to sneak in and out of Concordia.
So obviously my character is a bit, well, not really level 2, and this is how the inventory actually looks like now, which is, well, a bit kind of like an upgrade from what we had before. Now I must say I really like sound design in Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel, specifically for indoors and outdoors. So we are indoors now, at least something with an atmosphere, because the shield is keeping us alive. So listen to the sound of the shotgun. This is how it sounds indoors. Now let's go out where the atmosphere is much thinner, but not exactly a vacuum. You can literally hear the difference. Obviously, as in Borderlands, I do have my special ability skills based on a class, and for my class, well, it's basically our 2 drones, Saint and Wolf. Obviously, they are amazing when it comes to combat, and they have saved my ass throughout this game, including all the boss fights and things like that, so I can't really thank them enough. So Saint is a healing bot and Wolf is an attack bot, so even if I'm busy shooting something else or not shooting something else, the Wolf will take care of them. So I must say this is very cool. Also, I'm getting healed at the same time. There is an interesting mechanic that actually lets you kind of use your oxygen so you can actually float around after the jumping, which is very nice mechanic in my opinion. Specifically since it allows you to get around much more freely. I can't say that you will, you know, gonna use it all the time, but sometimes, specifically when exploring secrets and things like that, you will come to that. Also, as you can see, there's a, well, not really much gravity, so things are just running around, so this is fun. This is actual fun. Good old days when we were allowed to actually have fun. Well, we can still have it, but to be fair, not for long, I think, ladies and gentlemen, not for long. Because someone will get offended about someone having fun if he doesn't have fun, and then we will all be miserable and, well, without permission to have fun. But I digress. I should stay positive. So yeah. Also, yeah, almost forgot. This game does support co-op and multiplayer. So if you have friends, which you know is a luxury in 2020, specifically with all the COVID going around, then definitely get this game. This game is cheap as hell. I mean, just smash through the storyline with your friends. Like quite literally, it's gonna be amazing. You will like it. I would say for co-op play and storyline, this would be a very good idea to just introduce your friends to this madness, because that's exactly what it's gonna be. It is absolute madness when the big fights are actually breaking out, or boss fights. A lot of loot, a lot of different things you can do, and a lot of secrets to discover. If you look around, or basically you know where to look and what you're supposed to be looking for, you can find like these armor chests or things like that, where you can just get something that is better or worse, whatever you have. Or sometimes it's weapons, or sometimes it's something else, like an ability or whatever. So definitely I would say give this a go. And yeah, I think I need a different one. So for this gun, the first 2 bullets out to reload does extra damage. As you can see, it is glorious. So yeah, and it looks basically the same. And lightning effects are a bit better. That's about it. Animations and stuff like that, the same good old Borderlands. Different story, much deeper story, much more interesting story, I would actually say. And that's about it. And here we see the space laser fucking shit up. Our objective, of course, is to get to that, but we'll get to that later on. It is just madness. And this doesn't stop here. Borderlands has always been like this. The bigger the fight, the messier the stuff, the more fun it is to play, and this is why people actually liked it. As I said, South Park with guns. Now let's take a look at Borderlands 2, which is basically gonna be almost exactly the same as pre-sequel, to be completely fair. But I must say I like it much better for the simple reason I kinda don't like this planetary stuff where I'm kinda limited to oxygen. Of course you can get the claptrap and you know you don't have to worry about the oxygen, but that's not the point. I think you know what I mean, right? So yeah, I kind of like a down-to-earth attitude when it comes to certain things in games. Well, even Borderlands. So let's take a look at Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2. Always a happy sight for sore eyes. So, what can I tell about this one? I've played it so much, it's insane. As you can see, I'm actually, well, level 65. This is a cloud save, and I did, well, kinda got a bit under level, to be honest. I'm still trying to reach 72. I did stream a bit, hunting down the DLC content for this game on my Twitch channel, which I, well, basically, of course, nobody watches, including myself. But I must say, I like this. I like the way everything in Borderlands 2 is presented, playable, and how it actually looks, because goddamn. So this game actually came before pre-sequel, and oddly enough, it looks much better than pre-sequel that came out later. Go figure. Now let's talk about the requirements real quick here. So what they want, as recommended, is basically the same as pre-sequel. However, they actually are giving us a hint that video memory should be 512 megabytes, which I must say is not enough, like quite literally. As you can see, even on this, well, starting screen or title screen, we are using 900 megabytes of video memory already, and this is just the title. I do believe we're going to be pushing 1.2, 1.5 in the actual game, so let's just go there and take a look. In terms of other requirements, nothing really changed. Windows XP, Vista or Windows 7, quad-core CPU, and RAM at least 2 gigs, so hey, that is absolutely fine, which is still much more forgiving than Borderlands 3 requirements. So if we take a look, I don't know guys, this for me looks much different, well not really much different, but definitely different than the pre-sequel, and it's very hard for me to pinpoint why. Maybe it's because the reflection, or actually we have water here, or so, I mean, it's very hard to explain. So yeah, of course, luckily for us, we don't have fall damage anymore, so I can just jump down and I'll be fine. Which is, I must say, a rather big improvement for this particular game, because the first Borderlands you took fall damage, pre-sequel you don't take fall damage, and Borderlands 2 obviously you don't take damage as well, for the simple reason that if you started taking fall damage, well, that would suck a lot. Graphically, I don't know. It looks the same, but not really. The guns have much more reflections. If I take a gun, let's say like this, you can see with the targeting for the scope it actually will show you where the gun is looking at. So it's kind of like, there is things that are still in pre-sequel, but I must say this is before pre-sequel. Keep that in mind, and it looks amazing. Look at the shiny gun, like the way the shadows play and everything. All the animation, it looks pretty goddamn nice. And of course, this game, it has no bullshit attitude when it comes to, well, basically content, and there will be swearing. There's not really nudity in it, but in terms of black humor, oh my god, hold on to your fucking pants. Because this game, it does not chill. When it comes to actual dark humor, there's no such thing as, you know, not having it. It's the opposite. Obviously, I'm in kind of like in one of the DLCs now, so this area might be not familiar to any of you.
Wanna meet my girlfriend?
Wanna meet my girlfriend? I mean, shit, how many games can say a joke like this and just throw an explosive turret in your face?
One more turret kill.
I mean, this is exactly why I like Borderlands 2 in general. I mean, this no bullshit attitude, these jokes, this absolute madness that is just going on. And you can always have fun. This game always has your back. And then Minority Nation attacked. Which is, I would say, expected. But yeah, again, this game can be played in co-op, so I would definitely suggest you to actually grab your friends and smash the co-op session. I've done it with my friends as well, and to be honest, it's just so much fun. It's unbelievable just how much fun it is. That was random, but shit like this happens all the time, so to be completely fair, you will get used to this pretty quickly. So yeah, and when it comes to actual performance, the game is a bit weird though. I'm not sure if it's because of the rush production. There is certain patches that came out, but I must say that original game does stutter quite a bit, even with 1080 Ti. Like, if everything is maxed out and we're playing on full HD and there's a big ass battle going on with a lot of explosions at the same time, I'm getting sometimes a really bad frame drop up to, like, I would say, well, or down to even 15 frames, which I don't know why, but it just happens, so I guess that's how it is. And obviously, okay, this is a boat for me because, as I said, DLC content, and well, you just can't have enough of this. I'm telling you, there's no way in hell you can have enough of this stuff. I'm already carried away, I'm sorry. Yeah. As I said, definitely just get this game, play it. It's for cheapsies anyways. If it's for cheap, why not to take it? I mean, come on. Whoa. How can you say no to this? Ooh, hello. Well, level 65 is a bit OP for this area. I'm not sure what level enemies we're actually seeing here. 15, well, I think that might explain a thing or 20 when it comes to their ability or inability to actually do any damage to me. But yeah, again, I've been grinding and playing this game. It's actually more playing than grinding. You don't really grind in this game. And the bigger level you have, the more powerful you get. The game doesn't really stop being fun. You can feel like God, literally just go and fuck shit up. So I don't know. I highly recommend Borderlands 2, and if you see it for cheapsies, definitely get it. Like, get it for your kids, for fuck's sake. If you're not into these games and you think like, I will never be playing such games, well then get for your kids. God damn, those little kids will definitely appreciate it, you know? They will, even if they're not appreciating it right now. Once they will grow up a little bit, well, I do believe they will appreciate it anyway. So yeah, I don't know. Oasis Docks. First time I came to this DLC part, I was just stumped of the new things and the new premise, basically. Like the sand, there's like some sunken ships just stranded over, like that one. Sandworms, fucking everything. I mean, when it comes to DLCs on Borderlands 2, fuck. You can play this, I don't know, for at least 200 hours, and I mean, that's hunting down every quest, and most of the quests are shit anyway, to be completely fair. They're very boring and generic, but at the same time, you can play Borderlands all the time. You can jump in, jump out. You're not required to, you know, finish something. There is fair share of glitches as well, but come on, which game doesn't have them? And if you're playing as a soldier class, definitely grab one of these turrets and just fuck shit up. It is actually pretty amazing, I must say. I can't lie. This is just very cool, and I do believe that is out of range a bit. We can just do it here. Never gets old. Never gets old. So yeah. And now let's look at the last almost Borderlands when it comes to it. Borderlands 3. And oh boy, how they massacred it. Here we go. So Borderlands 3. I have mixed feelings about this game for the simple reason it just doesn't feel right. Now, given that this game is made by the same company that brought us the original, well, Borderlands, ID Software, or basically Gearbox Software, my bad, and 2K, it strangely, even when we have all the characters, like we have the Claptrap, we have the same art style and stuff like that, it has never felt less like Borderlands than it did before, and this is very hard to explain. The whole world was waiting for this game to launch. We had so many trailers, like we had the guns with legs, the Theodore ones, I believe. We had the Amara, the Siren, with a big punch ability, whatever. We had like the Moles with like a drivable mech. The Beastmaster, the cyborg that can have all the animals, kind of like Mordecai from the first Borderlands and the second and the pre-sequel. I would say actually Borderlands and Borderlands 2, where you see him again. And this, it is just, I believe this should be and definitely is the next step in evolution of Borderlands in general, because it has a lot of different things. I mean, you can definitely just run and slide. First of all, there's mantle physics, which has never been before. As you can see, the arms are kind of flailing around, and you can actually, well, jump on things, which obviously was never there before. Each gun now has like an alternative fire mode, which also, well, kind of wasn't there for the simple reason you can use iron sights and one mode of fire, but now you can have iron sights or scope and two different modes of fire. Like one is like, let's say, regular bullets, and another mode is like shooting rockets from the same gun. So all of this actually does feel Borderlandish, but the way they actually did it is just weird. Now, I can't really say it is very weird, it's just how it is. So of course there is the cheesy jokes like this, user acknowledgement, like you can literally just read through it and, well, it's pretty funny. They're trying to be Borderlands, but they're not exactly Borderlands. I honestly do not know why such a feeling, at least for me, occurs. Maybe because when this game first came out it was full of bugs. It was almost impossible to play. And let's take a look at, well, how all of this actually looks like. So visuals. So we have a lot of things we can adjust here. So like for the most basic things is the resolution and things. For advanced you can select which API you're using, what is, well, the quality settings. For me everything is on ultra, obviously. And you can even run a benchmark, so which of course I did. And average frames is 92. We're talking full HD with 1080 Ti. And the thing why I don't particularly like Borderlands 3 is maybe because of its requirements. So the requirements, I have it right here. So we're talking about minimum specs for full HD gaming, right? It wants Windows 7, CPU either i5 3570 or AMD FX 8350, which is, well, pretty decent CPU, to be honest. Memory 6 gigs of RAM, and for GPU it wants GTX 680 2 gigs. So this is for minimum spec. If we go for recommended specs for 1440p gaming, it wants Windows 7 810 with the latest service pack. CPU must be Intel i7 4770 or Ryzen 5 2060. I mean, that CPU is pretty goddamn good. It was, when it came out, it was pronounced one of the, well, best CPUs for gaming. Doesn't stop there. The memory, or the RAM, is required to be 16 gigs. 16 gigs of RAM for Borderlands? Holy fucking shit. Let's go further. Graphics card, AMD Radeon 590 or GeForce 1060 6 gigabytes. Is it worth it? No. Hell no. Reason one. The art style is still the same, which I like, but there's added dust particles and different effects. Like as you can see, there's like kind of like sand movement being blown away. Bit improved grass mantle. I mean, is it really necessary to you know, make this game kind of like have all these details? Because again, Borderlands, it's always been about the combat. First and foremost, it was the combat, and after that, it was everything else. So in here, it's like, I don't know, it just feels not Borderlands, while it actually is Borderlands. This is very interesting. I honestly, it's hard to explain. Do I like this game? I honestly played this, I would say, for roughly an hour when it just came out. And, well, I had the possibility to play it basically for an hour when it just came out. And goddamn, I gave up. I was not able to play it on medium/low settings with my 980. And I just gave up. I was like, you know what? If I cannot play a Borderlands game on low with a 980, I'm calling it a day. It is that simple. And I never touched it. I see a lot of people are playing through it. They are like having fun and playthroughs, but for me it's just, I don't know. I would literally go back and play further the DLCs of Borderlands 2. Something feels off here. They do have the all the basically requirements for Borderlands. We have known characters, cheesy jokes, stupid amount of guns, various enemies, improved, well, graphics, because obviously this is a bit better than, well, to be honest, the first Borderlands anyway. Of course I cannot say, you know, it's not. But, I don't know. Too much. Too much things. As you can see, 2 different fire modes, while still retaining iron sights. So, it definitely is fun, but something in my gut tells me that it's not fun. I don't know. I've played through this area as well, obviously, and I don't know. Maybe because it's diluted down. Maybe because I saw how different things has changed, and I read about them as well. Maybe that just set it up for me that, you know, this is not exactly the thing I want to be playing, but it is hard to say. It is very, very hard to explain why I feel like this, and luckily I'm not the only one. A lot of people have exactly the same feelings when it comes to this game, which I think is actually pretty good, so at least we're not alone. Did that blast just self-healed? Okay, so we have a unexplodable corpse, which is a bit weird. Yeah, so I don't know. Do I recommend Borderlands 3? No. Call me biased, but I would say you would have much more fun with Borderlands 2 and all DLCs. I still stand by that, because looking even at the actual storyline, who are the main villains and stuff, for the first 2 parts, so Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel, we eventually fight a Vault, a monster, and Jack, right? In here we have a stupid couple of influencers, so to say, who are taking over the world by, well, you know, being just how they are. I don't know. We don't really have like an actual protagonist enemies. We have different locations, a lot of vehicles. I'm not saying that you can't have fun. You can have fun, and obviously you will be having fun, but at the same time, I mean, literally, I don't know why. Don't ask me why, but this feels like eating a soup without salt. Yes, it's a soup. Yes, it fits the bill and everything, but at the same time, it's not exactly what you would expect from Borderlands. Something has changed. Maybe it's just the way it feels or looks that is completely different. I have no idea. I honestly do not know. And at this point, I actually don't even want to know, to be completely fair with you, but hey. And this, like, this abomination of Siren reaching out, it's ridiculous, okay? I never understood how the fuck can they even like it at any point, but here we are. Obviously there's a boss fight, well, a mini boss waiting for us, and I'm not gonna go through this because what I'm gonna do is actually take this game and uninstall, because I don't know, it's just I can't figure this shit out. Free brainwash, bring friend, come in, Koi. Okay, so free brainwash. How cool is that, right? I don't know. Leave your comments, likes, dislikes below. Tell me if you feel the same way about any of these parts. Maybe I'm just overreacting and I should definitely give it a go, but I just don't know, you know? It's just very, very, very weird when it comes to this particular game. It's Borderlands, but it's also not really Borderlands, and god damn, if that's not surprising, then I don't know what is. So yeah, I think on this weird note, I will actually end this video, and well, thanks for watching. And see you guys next time. Definitely let me know what you think about this. Maybe maybe I'm wrong. So, keep classy, and see you next time.